Well, welcome back to the Timeline Ranch. Figured I'd show you what the pond looks like after it got a little rain from my last trip. So the North Creek that feeds the pond from this side over here, all the North Creek is from the high line of that ridge this direction. Everything on the other side goes out. So it's not really that much water, but looks like we caught just a little bit of rain. You can see the water, how it came around. Came from the North Creek, ran around, and it washed off. Right here it picked up a little speed because it was going downhill, washed all that fine sediment off. You can see that fractured rock layer down there. Yeah, that's all rock right there. I'm glad to see some water in there though, because I was worried about, when I dug this 12'6" deep hole that last trip, that some of that moisture that had soaked in when the pond was full during the monsoon season, it would wick back out and they wouldn't have enough water, for these two trees here on the very end. Or I guess 3 trees, that one too. So I'm glad to see that. We're in early spring. You can see some of the grasses are starting to come back to life. Tell you what, through the winter this stuff stayed green the whole winter. It was pretty tough. Don't know what it is, still haven't been able to find it. Pond's nice and clear, hasn't had any influx of water for a while, so all the sediment for the most part's settled. You can see all the salt deposited around here. All this white is salt. You can see it up on the stake even. Yeah, some plants are not gonna like this habitat. It's a baby Christmas cactus. It's grew here since I did the dirt work. So what I've noticed after I excavate a little area, you see right over there that white, so that area was excavated that last trip. Once it gets water on it, after it's new soil's been exposed, that salt comes to the surface. So I think after a while, once the pond's been here for a while, that salt will all work its way out of the soil, lower the salt content as it rains and purges the pond. But it probably has a high salinity level at this point, judging by all the salt around it. Still need to work on this little rock feature here to hold, to build this bank back out where it should have been. This didn't have any rock layers in it. You can see the rock layer right there where it dives down. So that's sloughed off. I'm gonna build it back up and then build the backside with some soil. Got some purple prairie verbena there coming in. Once it rains, these okra pods from last year. They're going to open up and drop their seeds. You can see already with this little pecan tree, last year's leaves are getting hung in this grass that's growing underneath here, because this area has been fenced off where the mule deer, nothing can chew on anything. Yep, the process is starting. Once these trees get big, there's going to be a nice layer of organic material over this, along with the grasses locking it in. It's going to change the environment over here in this little area. Be a little island. This one, the same thing. You can see its leaves down there. You can see it's actually starting to come back out for the spring. Still have some deal trying to grow in here. It's little. Right there. Onion I planted last trip, looks like it's hanging in there. You know, last time I planted some onions, maybe the mule deer ate them. This one's in this little fence. Nothing can get to it, except for maybe a mouse. There's that little baby pecan tree. It looks like it's still green. You see a little leaf bud getting ready to come out at the top there on it. Yeah, I'm interested to see how everything comes out this spring, how thick the grass is in here this year. I think this is all going to be carpeted with grass and wildflowers this year. You see that big old crabgrass there? It's good ground cover. So this trip also brought some moringa. I'm going to plant one back in there where I planted those little bitty baby ones, if you caught that video. And I'm going to plant another one 6 feet away from it and fence it in. And then I'm going to make another little shelved area the same height as this plane here, right over there for another one. Cloud formations, really nice looking this morning. Probably down there where that last pecan tree is, just on the other side of it, is where I'll bring that fence to the edge here where they can't get around it. Well, I guess that's it for the walk and talk around the pond. See you on the next one.